Good morning, everyone. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So now today we'll see or we will start with our lecture of DCS, that is distributed computing system. Okay. So in the previous lecture we have seen the first concept or definition of distributed system and the examples of distributed system. Can anyone tell me about the definition of distributed system? Yes, anyone? Those who were present in the lecture? No one. Yes? No one can say? Okay, so I will tell the definition of the distributed system. The name suggests distributed means a distributed system is a collection of independent computers. The computers are not dependent in the distributed system. Okay, so it is a collection of independent computers that appears to its user as a single coherent system. Means in the distributed system, the number of systems, independent systems are there, but while the users using the distributed system, it can consider as means he can consider as the system is the single system. It is not a distributed system where in the system all the resources are distributed on the different locations, but user don't know about the location of the resources which is using or accessing the data from the resources. Okay, this is the basic definition of the distributed system. Now we will see the next example of the distributed system is the mobile and ubiquitous computing. Here, I think you have one subject right now, that is ubiquitous computing. This is one of the example of the distributed system where mobile, we know mobile, we can use a mobile while we are moving. Okay. So here the resources are moving, mobiles are moving, the users are moving. So this is one of the example of the distributed system where this user is moving from the home intranet to the host intranet. Okay, means here this is the user. It is having the equipment that is mobile phone, laptop, or the camera. That particular user is moving from his home location or the home internet to the host internet to meet the host. Okay, but he is carrying this equipment, that is mobile, laptop, and the camera. But here when he is in the home internet, he can make use of the resources, that is resources. But when he is moving to this host internet, he can be able to use the local resources of host internet also, because the host intranet is using the internet, and this home intranet is also using the internet, that is the global internet. That's why that particular user can use the internet through mobile, through laptop, or he can take printout, which is means he can uh, take printout of the photos which are clicked by the camera. Okay, because that camera is connected to the printer. Here printer is also the resource. Okay, it is also the remote resource. He can access that resource through the host internet or the host intranet. Okay, this is one of the example of the distributed system where all the resources are mobile or the moving in the moving location. Okay, here this is just the information of this diagram, that is wireless networking. Different handheld devices are there that particular user is carrying. First one is laptop, then mobile phone, and the camera. Okay, these are the different wireless devices the user can carry. Then embedded devices are there, that is washing machine, cars, and hi-fi systems. These are the examples of the embedded devices. Means that particular devices are generated with the help of microcontroller. Okay, and these are generated for the specific purpose only. These are not the general purpose devices. That's why they are not use, they do not use the microprocessor, they uses the microcontroller. This is the basic difference between microcontroller and the microprocessor. Microprocessor is designed for the general purpose, and the second one is the microcontroller. It is designed for the specific purpose, and these are using the microcontroller, that is embedded devices. Then the mobile computing, here the performance of the computing task while the user is moving, means all the tasks the user can perform while he is moving, or the moving from one location to the other location, as like we are using the computer or laptop or mobile phone. Means we can use the internet while we are in the moving state. Okay, next one is the moving computing. Moving computing devices in or out intranet, means as we see here in this diagram, that the host is in the moving state from home to the host intranet, but he can make use of the local resources or the local services of home intranet also, or the host intranet also. Means here the location is transparent and the access is also transparent, means the user can access the resources which are available at the host internet also. Means no need to know where the resources are located. Okay, then access to the local resources at a remote site also. Then the location awareness computing is there. Next one is the computing, ubiquitous computing. Here, harnessing of many small cheap computational devices that are present in user's physical environment, including home or office. Means suppose that particular user can have camera, and that particular camera is having some photo, and that user want to take printout. At the same time, he can take printout just by connecting to the printer. Okay, means the camera it should be connected to the printer, that is the resources. Now the small computing devices everywhere, means we can use mobile everywhere, we can use camera everywhere, which are using the computational power. For that means that camera can connect to the internet via Bluetooth or any other connecting devices. Okay, and after that the communication between the devices, here the devices can be communicate with each other with the help of the connecting devices. Now the next one is the challenges. What challenges are comes under the design part of the distributed system? Here you are in the last semester of last year. Okay, and you are going to design or develop the project in this semester. In that case, you are just you are creating the web pages, you are creating the front end and using the back end for the data. Okay, to store the data, to retrieve the data here also. So you should know what are the challenges comes while you are designing your system. And here also the challenges comes under the designing part of the distributed system. We'll see one by one. First one is the transparency, heterogeneity, then openness, security, scalability, failure handling, and the concurrency. Here we'll see first one is the access. Then, sorry, first one is the transparency. Here the name suggests transparency. Your system should be transparent. Okay, means system is transparent for a feature if the feature is unobservable for the user. The user number of users are using your system simultaneously at the same time. Okay, but that user should not know where the resources are located and how we can access the resources. Users are only using the URL. Okay, that URL is one of the example of the resource, means one of the example of the accessing of the resources. Okay, how can you access the resource? Suppose you want to search suppose you want to search the latest car. Okay, so you need to access the Google, so you need to access the URL, that is www.google.com. so you no need to you no need to know about the location of the resource, where the resource is located, but you are just using the URL where you can find out the different types of cars available. Okay, so here this is the example. There are different types of transparency. An important goal of the distributed system is to hide the fact that if processes and the resources are physically distributed across the multiple computers. Okay, means all the resources are distributed among different computers. The distributed system that can be able to present itself to users and applications as if it were only the single computer system. It is said to be the transparent, means if the user knows about the system is the single system. Okay, then that particular system is the transparent system. Now we'll see different type of examples of the transparency in the distributed system. Here, first one is the access, then location, migration, relocation, replication, concurrency, failure, persistence, and the scaling. These are the different challenges comes under the transparency. Here we will see first one, that is access. Access hides the differences in data representation and how the resource is accessed. Here, while we are designing the distributed system, the developers can use different data representation, data types. Okay, he can use different data types, different developers can use different data types, but that can be hide in the distributed system, then that particular system is accessible. Okay, and if how the resources is accessed, it is also hide, means it should also hide by your system. Then second one is the location. It access to the resources without knowledge of their physical and the network location, means it hides where the resource is located. While the users are using the resources, that particular user don't know where that particular resource is located. That means by the location hiding. Next one is the migration. Migration means the mobility. It is also called as mobility. It hides the resource may move to another location. Means suppose resource is located at one location, and if the developer or the administrator want to move the resource at the different location, then that particular migration should happen in the distributed system without knowing to the user. It is meant by the migration. The next one is the relocation. Relocation means it hides the resource maybe move to another location. Resource move to another location while in use. In this case, the location is means the resources are moving simultaneously, and at the same time the user is using the particular location, sorry, a resource, but that user don't know about the moving or the mobility of the resource. That means by the relocation. Next one is the replication. It hides the resource is replicated. Means replication means what? We can create same copy of the resource in case of the replication. Next one is the coherency. It hides the resource may be shared by several competitive users. Means at the same time, number of users can use the same resource. Okay, it is mean by the concurrency. At concurrent level, that users can use by the number of resources. Next one is the failure. It can hide the failure and the recovery of the resources. Means here, as we know about the distributed system, all the systems are independent. So if one of the system is in the failure state, then no complete system get fail. Okay, here only that particular system is isolated to for the running or for the continuous use of that particular system. Next one is the persistent. It is it hides whether the software or the resources, hardware or software resource, is in the memory or the disk. Means if that particular resource is in memory or the disk, it is also hidden by your system. Then the scaling. Your system should be scalable. Means if n number of users can use your system, then if your system can access n plus 1 number of system, okay, means we can scale, or you can increase the resources just to make your system scalable. Okay, then next one is the heterogeneity. The next challenge is the heterogeneity. It means the name suggests heterogeneity means while designing of distributed system, the developers can use different, suppose two different users are using your system with different hardware, different operating system, or different networks. Through different networks, the users can access your system. Then also your system should be accessible. Okay, so these type of goals you need to consider while developer using or developing the system. Okay, means the different systems we can use or we can access the distributed system. That system should have different operating systems, that should have different hardware, or for the connecting to the network, different networking systems are there. Then the programming language, suppose two different developers are creating same distributed system, then that particular users or the developers knows the different programming languages. Then also your distributed system cope up with the different programming languages. Okay, then implementation by the different developers. If the suppose one distributed system is designed by one developer, okay, and if another developer has to maintain that system, then that particular implementation can also cope up with the another developer. Okay, means the same different rules we can use, same rules the developer should use while designing the distributed system. So here for that the different solutions are there, that is middleware. Middleware means the software, it is a software layer which is available at the operating system. So here suppose two different distributed systems are there, and we want to design or we want to execute the method to access the resources. Okay, to access the resources. So here Java RMI, that is remote access method, a remote method invocation, or the CORBA is also used. CORBA is the common object request broker architecture we can use to cope up with the heterogeneity. Okay, means here suppose two different systems are there, and we need to access the method which is available in the server. Okay, we need to access the method which is available in the server. So no need to send the request of the method. We simply send the request of the object which is available at the server. Okay, no need to directly access the method, just call the object and invoke that method which is available at the object of the server. Okay, so this is one of the solution of the heterogeneity, means we can avoid the heterogeneity with the help of middleware. It is the software part. Okay, it is not the hardware part, it is available in the operating system. Now the next one, yes, the remote procedure, remote method invocation, then remote event notification, and the distributed transaction. These are the example of the middlewares. We will see these middlewares in the second and third unit of your distributed computing system. Okay, so next one is the openness, means your system, distributed system should be openness. Openness means it offers the services according to the standard rules. It enables the adding system extension without disruption or the disturbance or the duplication of the existing services. Means what? If you want to extend your system, you can able to add different resources in your system. Then that particular system is open system. Okay, and it offers the services according to the standard rules. The goal of the openness is the open distributed system is a system that offers services according to the standard rules that describes the syntax and the semantic of those services. Means here, while you are designing, you can offer different services which can be made with the help of different standard rules. Okay, means if two different developers are designing, then that particular developer should use the specific rules which are governed for the format, content, or the meaningful messages. Means what? Suppose in the networking, different protocols are there for the communication purpose. Okay, so while we are designing distributed system, we should know the specific format or the different protocols for developing the communication rules. Okay, so the next one is the important goal of the open distributed system is that the extension or the extensible, your system should be extensible. It should be easy to add new components or replace the existing one without affecting those components that stay in place. Okay, then next one is how we can generate or how we can design the open system just by using the uniform communication mechanism. Means what? As I discussed previously, that is the communication protocols, we need to know about that protocol and how the communication is happen. With the help of that, we can use the programming languages, and we can use the different module for the programming with the help of uniform communication mechanism. Okay, and the next one is the published and standard interfaces. For communication, we need to interface with different systems. Then in that case, that particular interfaces should be published and should be standard while designing to access the shared resources. Okay, then when we use these type of methods while designing your system, you can develop the system which is open distributed system. Okay, and it will be heterogeneous hardware possible. Means what? It can cope up with the heterogeneous system also. Now the next one is the scalability. Your system should be scalable. Means it allow the scaling of the system. Means we can increase the number of resources uh, to make your system scalable. Means your system can use more number of users simultaneously. Okay, so the major challenges of scalability is what? The first one is control cost of physical resources. If the physical resources are limited, okay, and if you want to scale your system, then the cost of your distributed system or the physical resources should be are less than big O of n, that is n is the number of users. Okay, means if the physical resources are limited, okay, and we want to use that resources by number of systems and number of systems, in that case your system is the scalable. Means it should control the cost of physical resources. The second one is it should control the performance loss. Means the loss should be less than big O of log n, where n is the size of data. Means how much data you are passing from sender to the receiver, that particular data should be less than the big O of log n. Okay, the next one is it should prevent software resources running out. Means here the example is the IP address. Then the avoid performance bottleneck. Means suppose same resource can be accessed by number of resources at the same time simultaneously, then bottleneck is occur. Okay, but your system should avoid the bottleneck, that is performance of bottleneck, then your system is scalable. Okay, then the general techniques for to design the scalable system. First one is replication and the partitioning of data. Means what? Your data or the resources should be replicated to the different location. The second one is the partitioning of the data. Means your data should be partitioned. Means the users simultaneously, if the user want to access the same resource, then they can access to the different replication or the replicated data at the same time. In that case, the bottleneck is avoided. The second one general technique is what? The catching of data. Means the data which is required um, then that particular data is stored in the cache, and that particular data is used by the user. Means no need to access the data from the resource itself. Okay. Next one is the multiple servers. Means here we can maintain different multiple servers where the all data is stored. Okay. And whenever user want to access the data, that user will just send the request to different servers simultaneously. In that case also bottleneck can be avoided. Then the next one is the security. Here the attacks, your system should be secure. Means the distributed system distributed system uses different number of users simultaneously. We are using Google at the same time, and number of users are using the Google. Okay, but that particular data should be secure. Here, first one attacks are confidentiality or the privacy. Means no unauthorized user can see the data. Means what? It should be confidential. Means while you are designing your project, you need to use different or create different modules. Okay. So here, suppose first one is the user module and the second one is the admin module. Then different rights are given to the different profile. Okay. Your first profile is admin profile. Then more rights you should give to the admin for maintenance, for maintaining the rights of the user. Okay. And user has different rights. So every time while designing developers should know the different rights we should give to the user or the admin. Okay. So here the integrity of the messages. Means whenever we are using the data, we should not have the right to alter the data. Okay. We just can access the data. When we are using Google, we can just access the data which is available on the internet, but we cannot modify, we cannot alter the data which is available in the internet. Okay. So this is the integrity of the messages. The next one is the authentication of the user. Here, stimulating the false identity. Means whenever we are using the specific system, suppose the ERP, we should authorize to that particular system. Okay. Here ERP, your KBTUG ID is there. Okay. So with the help of that ID only, you can access ERP. No unauthorized user can access that ERP. This is the authentication. First of all, you need to pass the authentication of your system. Then only you can make use the resources of that ERP. Okay. Next one is the availability. Here, unauthorized user of the resources. Means use of resources. Means unauthorized user should not access the resources of your system. Then that particular attack is known as the availability. Okay. Here, the accessing files printers. Means the unauthorized user should not access all the resources available on the system, because the rights given to that specific or the limited rights given to the users only. So here, every time if we want to alter the data which is available on the Google, then we should authorize, we should register for that purpose. Okay. Here, whenever we need to publish the paper, okay, you are going to publish paper on different journals in this semester. Okay. For that purpose, we need to register first, and then only you can publish your paper on different journals. This is one of the example of the availability or the authentication. Okay. Means once you authorized or once you register for that website only, you can upload your paper or literature survey paper or the implementation paper, and you can publish your paper on the Google once you register for that website. Okay. Or for that journal only. This is one of the example of the authentication or the availability. Means your system should be authenticate. Means no unauthorized user can access the data, or you cannot have the right to alter the data without the registration. Okay. So these are the challenges of the security. This is the table which shows the number of web servers available at that particular year as compared to the computers. Okay, so in 1993, number of servers are available as compared to computer is 0.008, means less number of servers are available in that year. Okay, but when gradually the number of servers are increased as compared to the computers, and this survey is only till up to 2003, because the number of servers are increased, rapidly increased here. Initially, supposed in 2003 July, number of web servers are 42298, means it is not counted in the percentage form also, because number of servers are increased when the number of computers are increased. Okay, with the help here we can see in 2001, 25% of web servers are there as compared to the computers. So here the number of web servers are less as compared to the computers. That's why the distributed systems are designed to make the use of number of web servers, because these web servers are limited, but number of computers, means the number of users, are more. Okay, so for the to require less amount of quantity or less amount of money, means to design the distributed system to make the number of web services, less amount of web services by the number of users or the computers. Okay, after that the next challenge is the failure handling, means your distributed system should handle the failure system, the failed system. Okay, but if your system is partial failure, it is very difficult to handle. Then the techniques to handle the failure are the detecting failures. You already know about these techniques, which are covered in your CN, that is computer networking. Okay, which is in your which was in your previous semester, that is third year, second semester. Detecting the failure. How can you detect the failure? Just by using checksum. Then masking the failure. How can you mask the failure system? Just by passing the message retransmission. Okay, means if you don't know the system is failed, in that case you can retransmit the message. Then the tolerate failures. Here the browsers announce the servers are not available. Here if the server itself is fails, in that case the browser should announce that the server is not available in that case while you are accessing that server. Okay, that's why it is a tolerating failure. Next one is the recovery from failures. In that case we can create another copy of the data. Okay, in this way we can recover the failure. And next one is the redundancy, then replicating the services. Here we can replicate the services itself, not the data. We can replicate the services for the redundancy of the failure handling. Okay, then the next one is the concurrency, means concurrently use at the simultaneously at the same time. If the user using the data, then that particular problem occurs. The different client simultaneously accessing the shared resource. The solution is there, limit of the number of users to 1, that is inefficient and restrictive, means it is not the actual solution of any system, that is the system should only one user can access at a time. So allow concurrent execution. This is one of the example or the solution of the given problem, that is concurrency. Here concurrent execution is there. Either you can use a different methods, that is threading, multi-threading. Here we are using in the system, that is threaded, different threads are allocated for the different tasks, and that simultaneously that threads are executed. This is one of the example, that is a semaphore. Semaphore is also covered in your OS. Okay, these are the synchronization tools are needed for this to overcome the concurrency control of the distributed system. Okay, now the next one is the resource sharing and the web services. What is the use of sharing the resource? Can anyone tell me why is the need of resource sharing?
If
Yes.
more number of resources are not available.
Yes, very good. Now, limited resources are there. So to make the use of the resources should be shared among n number of users. Okay. So here the sharing of high level resources means what we can share the resources among different locations, means the resources are available on the different locations or disk or the processors, means we can share or store the data among different disk or different processors. Okay, so sharing of search engines, that is tools which servers host these applications, means we can share the search engine also just to make use of that particular resources. Next one is the computer supported, that is cooperative working. Here a group of users who cooperate directly share the resources such as documents in a small closed group. Means we can suppose we can share the resources which are available at the different location. Okay, and these are available at the these resources can be used by the different users simultaneously. Okay, then the services, a distinct part of a computer system that manages a collection of related resources and presents their functionality of users and applications. The example of such a services are file service, printing service, payment service. Means we can share the printer, means suppose we are not, it is not affordable to buy the printer for each and every system, so we can connect all the 30 systems in the LAN connection, and that particular printer is also connected to that particular LAN. Then all 30 systems can share the single printer. Okay, this is the use of resource sharing. Then the focus on resource sharing is one of the example is client server communication, where all the data or the resources are available at the server, and client just communicating for means requesting the data which is available at the server to get the means to make the use of that particular resources available at the server. Here server is the running program or a process that accept the request from the program running on the other computers. Means suppose client want to execute a specific task, then client will send the request to the server. Server will access that request, then find out the result or the output of that particular request and send the result to the client. Okay, this is the client server architecture where client requests the processes and client invokes an operation which are available at the servers. Okay, client send a request for an operation to be performed. Suppose client want to find out the addition of two numbers. Okay, so either client will send the request for addition. Okay, then server is having that particular method. Server will access the request from the client. Server will find the result of the addition, and server will just send the result to the client. This is one of the example, that is a remote procedure call. Okay, and second one method is what? Remote method invocation, where the method is available at the server. Okay, server will create the object and client will access the object, means that object can perform the addition. Okay, no need to send the data from sender to the receiver or the client to the server. Client will just invoke the method which is available at the server and find out the solution at the client itself. Okay, and it will get the result from the method invocation process. These are the two different methods we can use for remote access from client to server or server to client. Okay, this is the remote invocation where complete interaction between the client and the server. Either you can use procedure or we can use object for the communication to solve that particular task. Okay, so now we will stop here. Just mark your attendance in the chat box Start with roll number 1 only. Okay. So roll number 1 to 10, mark your attendance. Only roll number 1 to 10. Yes, 11 to 20. Mark your attendance. Completed. 21. Rohit. Why you marked your attendance? Your roll number is 73, na? 74. Okay. 30 above, 30 to 40. Mark your attendance.